Hey guys, so you're looking for a new trailer and you're not sure what to get. Maybe you're new to the hotshot business, need a farm trailer, something like that. Maybe you're a bit in the business and you're looking to buy a new trailer, having somebody build one. What do you want to get? You know, you can get Kraftsman trailers, you can get P&J trailers, you can get Diamond C trailers. Trailer you probably haven't heard of is this guy right here, Kraftsman trailers. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of a review on this trailer that I had Kraftsman build me last year. Picked it up around July of last year, and I'll tell you what I like. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to tell you a couple things that, you know, I wish could be changed, and a couple things that absolutely have to be changed. And I guess about that's it. Let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ron. I have 9 Fingers Trucking, and my goal in making these videos is just to give good, honest, realistic information, opinions, just help guys out, just help to do better. So one way to do that is to just give honest information on the trailers that you're going to be using every day. So the place that I'm picking up at has multiple trailers here, lots of hotshot trailers, and fortunately for us, we've got a P&J sitting here that looks like it's got at least 10 if not 12,000 pound axles on it. Got a Diamond C with 12,000 pound axles on it, and a Kraftsman with 12,000 pound axles on it. Got a couple single axle coffins, and I'm going to show you these other trailers before I show you the Kraftsman. Let you just see a little bit of apples to apples. So if we come on over to this first coffin over here, you got 2. I'm going to turn this around. We got a single axle coffin. You can see how wide the frame set is. Okay, you got a frame rail here, got a frame rail over here. Okay, this is a single tire. You know, it's a dual axle but single tires, so it's going to be lighter weight capacity. But by being able to spread those beams out like that, they can get the springs all the way out. That does give that trailer a little more stability, so, you know, kudos to them. Single jack in the front, so they had to split the toolbox up front. There are no other additional toolboxes on this one. Conversely, when you come over to the dual tire on this coffin, you have to bring the frame rails in, and so that's going to be pretty typical of anything with, you know, 10-12,000 pound axles on it that have dual tires. So we take a look at this coffin, and you're going to see that they built their beam up here on the neck. It's fully welded. These look okay. This is not my trailer, so I'm not going to go too nuts with it. And it looks to be an all right trailer. They do have stake pockets all the way down the side. They are welded top and bottom over here, so the welds are okay. They're a little bit rough, but they do look to be okay. There's no chain spools. There's no chain spools on this Kraftsman trailer, so when you're chaining, you only have the stake pockets to go to. It's not a bad thing, it just is what it is. And they did add these beams along the side here. Not going to go too much into detail. Kraftsman, I believe, has their harnesses made for them. I'm not sure where the box is. I'm not going to go crawling under it. So that's a Kraftsman trailer. So we're going to shoot over here to a P&J, or a PJ trailer. Now, one of the things I like about the PJs and some of the others is the way they do their ride height. You can see that these tires have been clearanced with the frame rail, and they run steel decking over that. That gives this thing about 2 inches lower ride height than comparable trailers, 2 inches lower at least than my trailer. I'm not going to drag it out. That would be something I would like to see added to Kraftsman trailers, but we'll talk about in a little bit. You can see they're running 16-inch tires on this guy, and those are, well, they're pretty crappy tires. They are good rides, so those are China bombs. If you were to order this trailer, pick up this trailer, one of the first things I would do is probably change those out. Now these guys, they do put chain spools, but the chain spools are only welded out here, okay, and they are only welded on the top. So if you take a look over here, there's no weld. They drill a hole, they insert the pipe, okay, this is what it looks like anyway, and then they weld the top. So when I come under here and I take a look, I don't know if you guys can see that, I wish I had a light, I can get half my finger in there. Okay, this chain spool is, yeah, you'd have to shear it out of here, so it is still pretty strong, and it is welded on the top, but you got to weld here, weld here, weld here, no weld on the bottom. Okay, if you take a look, there's no weld on the bottom. So when you're pulling up on this guy, because everybody straps to this guy, there is nothing keeping this from being pulled out. Got a weld on the top, weld on the top, you know, partial weld on the top, weld on the top. There's nothing securing that. Okay, yes, it is welded all the way along the side, and yes, you are generally pulling up on it, so I'm not saying it's overly weak, but it's not complete. It should be welded on the bottom. These should be welded on the bottom. So that's just something that would cause me to not want to buy this trailer, or to immediately take it to a welder and have it done properly. Okay, my opinion only. The neck on this, it's a nice looking neck. It's very similar to the Diamond C's. It's one piece, and then they engineer this guy, so that's probably a very good strong neck. All right, they do mount their spare tire up here. It's an all right trailer. You know, I'm not, you know, haven't gotten into the wiring on it. It's gonna be hard to go in there, but the simple fact that they're not welding that bothers me. Right, that would be something that I would not want. All right, we're rolling over here to a Diamond C. Diamond C stake pockets, Diamond C chain spools. They are a little bit smaller, not a bad thing, and they are welded all the way around. This is welded top and bottom all the way around. Okay, Diamond C is your highest, you know, price trailer out there. You can see they did not put the cutout for the wheel, which is not a bad thing, but they did do the plate, and you can see how high that wheel sets up in there. And this is a spring suspension. So, you know, this trailer's loaded, there might be 5,000 pounds on here, could be a little bit more, but it's just sitting there. Apologize for the pause here. Yeah, these are the 17.5s, just wanted to make sure. The owner of this opted for aluminum wheels on the outside, which is nice. I would pay for that. They look nice and they do save weight. Those 17.5s are very heavy. They tip the scales at well over 100 pounds when you're dealing with steel, so being able to save, you know, even 20 pounds per wheel is significant. Suspension on these Diamond C's is very heavy duty, I should say. I have no idea how many miles are on these tires, okay, but rubbing my hands on these tires, you can see there's a lot of tread left. This is low, this is high, this is low, this is high, this is low, you know, so, and there's some roughness to this. This is a different tire, so this one's been replaced, and yeah, it's got a little bit of roughness and a little bit of roughness. This trailer is not quite aligned properly. I'd have to get it on a rack to tell you exactly what. Got a single toolbox on the side. Again, this neck looks exactly like that P&J over there, so P&J probably copied them. It's an engineered neck coming down, very strong, nice beam across this guy. Spare tire would have gone up here, except they put a deck on top, so I'm not sure where they have their spare. Could just be right on top of the deck. Somebody mounted some nice lights back here, which is nice. Okay, but that's a basic overview of these trailers. You know, we could definitely go into a lot more detail, but this trailer needs an alignment, but the welds are nice, and Diamond C is a solid trailer. Okay, that Kaufman over there, no chain spools whatsoever. Okay, it's going to save some weight, but you don't have a place to secure. The P&J trailer has chain spools, but it's missing half the welds coming down this guy. I don't know where else it's missing welds underneath there. A lot of people say that these plates will break. Taking a look at these tires are almost brand new, but there's definitely some feathering on these tires. And again, I have no idea how many miles are on them, but you can see by the tread depth, these tires are damn near new, and they're not horribly feathered, but there is some definite feathering on these things. So the alignment is not right on this. Okay, so we've got alignment that's not quite right, and we've got half the welds missing. All right, I know I've been getting long-winded. We're gonna get over here to this Kraftsman trailer. Now, the big blue thing on top is something I've been messing around with. It's a day cab fairing that I can stand up for taller loads, act as a windbreak. Okay, I added the rack here on the side, the binder rack. That's going to get moved. I put it on in the middle of a winter type thing. I just needed a place to put it. I put them right there. Okay, I added in the cross member there for the winch. I forgot to have Kraftsman do that for me. So, but let's talk about this trailer. So this trailer comes from the factory, you know, stock with no options. Okay, with the single toolbox up front, with 17.5-inch wheels and tires, with the LEDs, with the 12,000-pound Dexter axles. It just comes with that. It's a basic flatbed trailer. I had them install these 2 boxes up here. That box is for the hydraulic disc brakes and for the air suspension. I had another buyer's box at home that I added, which I put on there. Okay, I added the lights that you see on the side, okay, up and down the trailer. I added the chain rack. I added something on the other side. Let's go around to the other side. Let me just show you what Kraftsman did for me. So we have the basic trailer, 17.5-inch wheels and tires, 12,000-pound Dexter axles. I added the lights on the back here. I had them add in the winch sliding racks and had them get me all the binders or the straps. I added this toolbox back down here. Sorry for the sun in your eyes. They built the dunnage rack and they put that box on front for me. So they put on 1, 2, 3 extra toolboxes and a dunnage rack. They gave me air ride suspension, and they gave me, coming around over here, not gave me, but air ride suspension and the hydraulic disc brakes. All that stuff, painted it red for me, and it was 30 grand. Okay, so yeah, some people are like, you spent 30 grand on the trailer? Yeah, it was a brand new trailer. And keep in mind, this is when trailer prices, used prices, were just going nuts. Used trailers, basic trailers, were going for 20 grand, and they were selling them brand new for $22,000 or so. So I was going to buy used, but I was looking for air ride. I wanted disc brakes, and the difference between new and used was only a couple $1,000s at that point in time. So I decided to give them a chance. So let me tell you about my experience with Kraftsman trailers. So the people were great to deal with. They honestly were. Can't name any names right now, but the people were great. Right? They were great. We'll just leave it that way. The work was done well. I haven't found a single bad weld on this. You can take a look at the chain spools. Chain spools are pretty darn heavy. Okay, compared to the Diamond C, they're about a 1/2 inch bigger. That's not a good or a bad thing, it just is what it is. They are fully welded all the way around. Okay, both sides. Stake pockets are welded both sides. Really nice. I have not welded on this. Okay, I use a lot of chains on this thing, so if you take a look at the paint where there's no chains, where it hasn't been nicked, this thing's not rusting up, it's not doing bad. If you see rust like this, that's because I had something here and it wore completely through. This is on me. You can see it actually wore into the steel because I had something sitting there, I didn't realize it, and it was digging in and just carved the hell out of this thing. That's me, that's not them. The paint quality on this and the prep, it's as good as I would ever expect out of any trailer, so it's nice. So we come on down here. Not good. So I picked this trailer up in, I want to say, July, and I do roughly let's say 12,000 miles a month. So I have 90,000, let's call it 80,000 miles on this trailer. Now I try to rotate tires about every 20,000 miles, except this winter, every time I got home it was freaking 10 degrees and snowing, and I just didn't do it. So I haven't rotated the tires on this trailer for about 40,000 miles, which is not good. But let me show you these tires. Okay, take a look at these tires. All right, and there is very little, no real feathering on this guy. Okay, there's still quite a bit of tread left on this one. Same thing here, very little feathering. Okay, and there's really no feathering. It's nice and smooth, and yeah, it's running through and nice and smooth. Okay, now this tire back here, I think it was this one, has fewer miles on it because I did get a flat and had to rotate it. Now there is a little more wear on the outside of the tires, on the very outside, than the inside. It's because I haven't rotated them. They need to get rotated. All right, but what does that mean? I've got 40,000 miles on these things since I've rotated them, over 80,000 miles, and they're great. I'm going to get another 40, 50, 60,000 miles out of these tires. Let's call it 40. I'll get 120, 130,000 miles total. So what does that tell me? It tells me that the alignment on this is perfect, or as damn near perfect as you're going to get, which means that Kraftsman took the time to get these tires right, get the axles right. I have air suspension, which is beautiful. That trailer sits at that height, whether it's empty or whether I've got 18,000 pounds on the deck. That's where it sits. which is nice. It never looks squatted. Having the 17.5 inch tires on there, I think they're 14, maybe 16 ply tires. The tires never look like they're squatting because they have such huge capacity. That's just a great thing that you don't have to option out. You know, I used to run 16s on my other tire, and they would definitely fold and squat. And you know, even though they were nice 14 ply tires, you know, having the 17.5s is just a 19. So far so good. We've got great welds. Everything's welded. Great alignment. Good tires. The lighting and everything, you know, it all works. So I mean, just generally as a basic trailer, this thing's really nice. Okay, so I told you if you stung around, I'm going to tell you a few things that I want to see changed and that I think need to get changed. So bear with me. I'm going to crawl under this guy. It's going to take me just a second. I got to grab. Okay guys, so Kraftsman, if you can see, they make their own harnesses. Okay? They use a nice 2-lead, you know, heavy wire. It's multi-strand, and it's nice. They use heat shrink connectors, which is a good idea. Except, you see this little nub of glue coming out of here on that heat shrink on this single wire? That's fully sealed. There's nothing there. But did you see the glue over here? There isn't any, because they got 2 wires side by side, and you see how I can pull that open? There's a channel right there that goes straight up to the connection, which means water can get up there. Okay, so water gets up there, even just a minuscule amount, and it starts to corrode. I guarantee if I cut this open, it's corroded. How do I know? Well, if you take a look at this wire right here, that's the other end of it. Okay, sorry for, let me change this angle a little bit. All right, so what did I do? Well, I use, believe it or not, I use wire nuts, okay, that have an orange rubber seal on the back and are completely filled with dielectric grease. So for roadside repairs, and actually when I'm wiring something up on my own, I will take these guys and I will use these wire nuts as opposed to these when I have to put 2 wires in to one. So if I'm doing, you know, if I'm just doing 1-to-1 for whatever reason, yeah, you can use these. But having this intrusion here, that's not a good thing. So I have to go through and cut all these out and replace them with something that's going to be sealed. Okay, that's going to happen over time. Already had to do it here, had to do it on the back end once. Okay, so that is one thing right there that I would like to see Kraftsman change. Get this sealed up. Taking a look under here, it is dirty, but there's no rust. There's no rust anywhere. Take a look at these welds. Okay, fully welded. That's welded on the top side right there. Sorry guys, that one's fully welded. You take a look over there, that beam's welded. I have not found a single bad weld, anything on this trailer so far. You know, you take a look in here and it's just welded on both sides of this C channel. Everything is nice. So let me crawl out of here. All right, so thing that I think they should do better, that's number 1. Okay, we're gonna come around to the back and we're gonna do a thing that needs to get changed. Okay, number 2. See the hole in the back of my trailer right there? That's because the door is not there. Simple enough. You can see here where the welds were for the hinge. Okay, the hinge that they use on this thing is a piano style hinge, which is nice. It keeps it straight, except the metal on it is so thin that it just rusts and flexes and breaks right off. That broke off in the first couple months. Right, so that absolutely I think should get changed to a more robust style hinge. They can just put a single large hinge, you know, or 2 of them I should say, 1 on each side, just something that will hold that thing in place a little bit better. Okay, here's number 2. The way they have this designed, okay, they had it butt welded and butt welded. Okay, see, it's broken. That weld just broke. So they only had 1 weld on a bar right here. My personal opinion is once they weld this up, they need to come back and weld it here, do something to make this stronger. Because if as of right now, this thing's just hanging around doing nothing. So I am going to fix that. I will re-weld that. So that is number 3 on the list. We have electrical, minor issue sort of, but it leads to a problem. We have the hinge needs to get changed. That weld needs to get changed. Going back to electrical, one of the things I would like to see them do is on the back of all the lights, you just have 2 or 3 little pins. Those things are just open to the weather. when they are building the trailer, I would like to see them put just a dollop of dielectric grease or something on there and then put the connection on. That will help seal up the connection, make it last a lot longer. Okay. Final things that I want to see them change: one would be nice, and two is mandatory. Okay, so we'll do, what do I think would be nice first? You come on into my my box over here, and you have the air compressor gauge and switch, okay, sitting in there. Now when the hosing comes down, and ignore the extra blue hosing, that's spares that I have in there. When the hosing comes down, this is a low spot right here. All right, so when it's cold outside, it freezes and the gauge doesn't work. Okay, one little thing that I think would be nice is instead of mounting this here, they flipped it over and mounted it up on top. Okay, it might be a little hokey to have this gauge up there, might have to do something, but by having it up top, the water would bleed down and then the gauge would work in the wintertime. That is a minor thing, but it's something I think would be nice. Okay, here is a major thing: this battery. Okay, when I got this trailer, this battery just had a simple hold down on it. It was two little steel bars, wing nuts holding the thing on there. Within about 50 miles, that battery came completely loose and it was bouncing around. Well, on my 400-mile trip home, this thing came loose multiple times, right? And unfortunately, if you get back in here, I don't know if you can see it, but that heavy, oh crap, there you go. The heavy hose there that you can see the braiding come through, that comes straight out of my one air compressor, right? And it just beat the crap out of it, right? This battery. So one thing that absolutely has to get changed, this battery tray or something has to have a battery tray. I went ahead and I just took a battery box, I cut it down and made it 3 sides, and I made it tight, and so this battery basically goes in and just sits wedged in. I'd still like to get something over the top, but this battery hasn't moved in about 60,000 miles. Okay, because it's contained. So that is something that absolutely has to get done. So we've got the battery has to get done. The rear hinge over there has to get replaced. Okay. The electrical, I'd like to see that done a little bit better. This weld back here, the only weld that I found bad, and it's just, you know, whatever, needs to get done. So I don't know how well this is going to come out. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I've seen a lot of trailers out there and a lot of guys complaining. Overall, if I had to go out and buy another trailer, I'd buy this Kraftsman. I would like to have a couple options. For me, I'd like to be able to add extra chain spools. Okay, I want to come in here, instead of having one, I'd prefer to have 2. Okay, not one here, but maybe one here and one here. I would like that to be an option. Why? Because I've actually ended up doing a lot of chaining down, and sometimes it's nice to be able to have those multiple chain spools to create loops on. I would like the option of having a lower ride height. Okay, this thing sits fairly tall. I don't know if it's possible with air ride. I don't. But if it is possible, I'd love to see something more like this PJ over here, where it's cut out and I have a trailer that's sitting 2 to 3 inches lower. That does 2 things. One, gives me the ability to run legally taller freight. Number 2, everything sitting lower is going to get me better fuel mileage. So jumping in something like this, I would like the option to have something like that. That would be nice. I don't know, that's about it, guys. I'm real happy. I think the fact that the alignment on this thing, even after 90,000 miles, is perfect, just speaks to the quality and the craftsmanship, no pun intended, of Kraftsman trailers. I recommend them. They do need to take care of a couple things, but you know, they're fairly easy to take care of, and I hope they do. So, all right, guys, if you made it this far through, feel free to ask me questions. Please ask me questions. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I guess that's it. We'll come around over here so you can see my face. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.